Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wild Digest. I'm Scott, and just thought I'd do a little bit of a follow up and also discuss a couple things that I've hinted at in previous posts and videos, including what I believe are my plans for September, and also the book I teased about traveling around the world arrived today. So I'm going to show you that too. And it's not a big surprise. A lot of you either already own a copy or you've seen the book discussed or presented in the videos, other people's videos. So, but I'm just happy to have a copy in my hands, even though when I opened it up, I found a flaw right away. So, I mean, it is an out of date volume. So I'm dropping subtle little teases here. It's an out of date book. It really, really should be updated, but who knows if that would ever happen. I think we're probably going to have to look at something new and exciting down the line. I'm not volunteering. Anyway, couple quick things. I had mentioned that I was going to dive right into Perry's Planet next after I finished my Ishmael for Trek book Trek this month. I did finish this. It's a very slim 134-page book. This one is written by Jack Haldeman II. Hopefully that's focusing okay. Yeah. And he was the older brother of Joe Haldeman, the author of the Forever War. So if you're familiar with that, then you know the connection. This one was very satisfying. It felt very much like a traditional episode of the show. It had everybody was involved, so everybody from the entire main characters are involved. Introduces some new characters. I totally could have seen this being presented in the original series back in the '60s, even with the limited budget of that era. Um, it's pretty entertaining read. I suppose one of the biggest criticism I might have is that the author opted to give Scotty's dialogue, you know, accent affectation. So he's Scottish, so he writes it out not so much phonetically, but I guess I mean you know what I mean. It's like he's writing it as if you're hearing Scotty's dialogue. The big problem with that is it goes to, I mean, it's too ridiculous, and it goes on there's too much of it. Let's just say that. But the other big problem is that Chekhov is in the story, and we all know Chekhov has a Russian accent, but he never makes any attempt to try to write out a Russian accent in any of Chekhov's dialogue. So I think that's kind of a problem with the book overall. But I mean, it's minor, and but everything else is pretty enjoyable, and I recommend it. So if you ever get a chance to grab Perry's Planet, as I said, it's only 134 pages. So if you're going to do shorty September, and you want some Trek, this is a good one. I would recommend that. I've started reading this one now, Corona, and I'm just a little ways into that. But this one should go pretty quickly too. It's another fairly short one. It's less than 200 pages long, and hoping to get that one done fairly quickly. I know we're only in the middle of the month, but I want to get some more Trek in if I can. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to finish Corona. I mean, I've got a little ways to go, a couple days anyway, and then I'm going to go ahead and read this Strange New Worlds novel because it's over 300 pages, and I just want to be sure I can knock this one out before the end of the month. And hopefully I do, and then I can grab one of the other one or two Trek novels that I picked up last weekend and read one or two of those. All right. Uh, September plans. So I posted a thing. There are a number of September reading events out there. We've got Shorty September, which is reading shorter novels. That one doesn't really work for me because I tend to only read shorter novels on the whole. So I'm kind of pushed that one off to the side. There's Shakestember or Shaketember, where you read Shakespeare. I've read a lot of Shakespeare in my life. I was a theater minor in college. I've read most, if not all, of the plays and sonnets. I've seen multiple performances. In fact, I think it was about 2 months ago, I actually saw Love's Labor's Lost performed live in Shakespeare in the Park here in LA, in Griffith Park. and that was terrific. So I've kind of had my fill of Shakespeare. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say because it's always good to revisit this stuff, but I think right now I'm going to just hold off on devoting an entire month to Shakespeare. I mean, I could see like maybe a Shakespeare and contemporaries thing because I'm a big Chaucer fan, but we'll see. Maybe down the line I'll do some kind of I don't know, a Shakespeare related thing, but not this month. The other one I saw being kicked around was Short Story September, and that one really intrigued me because I own a large number of anthologies, and it's not just science fiction anthologies. I have fantasy and horror and mystery and Western anthologies, loads of them. So not think, I've decided to do Short Story September this year, and I worked out a list. Now this is tentative because I only picked 30 short stories, one for each day of the month. 30 days has September. Yes, 30 short stories. And it's entirely possible that I'll whip through these quickly. I don't know the lengths of some of these stories. I don't really know the lengths of any of these stories. There's a couple on here I have read, but I'll tell you about my selection process in a second. But my feeling is if I get through these very quickly, then I'll just go ahead and generate another list. It'd be fun. It'd be great to bang out more than 30 short stories in September. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm calling it S's for Short Story September, and I created a list, and I'm going to share this with you. That's it. This is not a real coffee stain. I'm just a lunatic, and when I make lists and stuff, I do silly things in graphics. Anyway, so this is a list of 30 short stories that I randomly selected. I went through my collection and I just grabbed books off the shelf that I knew had short stories in them, stacked them all up, went through them, and whenever I found a short story that started with the letter S for September, I added it to the list. And then I also added, I have a spreadsheet that has the genre, the author name, and what book it's from. So then I took that list of all S titled short stories. This is kind of crazy. Anyway, I took that list and then I organized it by author, and that is my reading list. So I'm going to go through this list in order. I mean, talk about random selection of stories, random selection of authors. I didn't even pick the authors, and then organized by the author's last name. So there are some standouts in here. There are a few doubles and even a triple in one case. There are 3 stories by Richard Matheson, totally a total fluke. 2 stories by Philip K. Dick, 2 Western stories by Owen Wister. He's the author of The Virginian, and most of the other ones seem to be one-offs. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, so it's a mix, and I won't know what's in there until I actually pull the book down and read the story. So, as I say, some of it's science fiction, it's fantasy. There's some Twilight Zone stuff in there. There's westerns and horror, and I don't know what else is in there. It's a big mix, runs the gamut, and as I say, I just randomly assembled it. At some point when we get closer to the month, I'll go ahead and share this list so you can follow along or even join in and try to track down some of these stories. I'm sure some of them are in the public domain and probably can be found online for free. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But it's the middle of August right now, so we're still a little ways away from that. All right, lastly, I had mentioned how there was a book that I had ordered that has seen multiple countries and states. It has taken close to a month to finally reach me, and it did today. And it is a book that you may have seen on other people's channels. I know Roy has a copy. Oh gosh, who else has one? I think Jim has a copy. Um, Murder Mayhem, right? So there are a few out there, but it is this. It is the Encyclopedia of Frontier and Western Fiction by Tuska and what is it, Pikarsky, and it's an older volume. This one is in really nice shape, and it even has a protective cover on it. It's I'm very happy with the results. Even after traveling the world, it arrived in phenomenal condition. I was flipping through it earlier, and it is a really, really neat reference, but it is by no means complete. I was actually quite surprised. One of the first authors I looked up was Al Cody, because I've read a few of Al Cody's novels in recent months, and he ain't in here. There's no Al Cody in here, and I even looked at his real name and I didn't see it. So either it is I'm missing it and I have to dig deeper, or they missed him. And he was a very prolific Western writer, so I'm really surprised to not see him in there. Max Brand is in there, but he's not under. It's not under Max Brand, so you have to kind of go to Brand, and then it'll send you off to look up another name. But it's very thorough. I mean, and there are some photos and some mentions of the books they wrote. Uh, by no means complete, but very, very happy to have it in my collection. That's the spine there. You can see that. And the back, probably not much to see on there. McGraw Hill. And again, the cover. But a nice, chunky hardcover. Happy to have it in my collection. I like having books about books. And even though it took forever to get here, it's in great shape, and I'm very, very happy with the purchase. So looking forward to diving into that, or at least just referencing it every once in a while when I pull up a Western I'm not familiar with, or by an author I'm not familiar with. So that is about it. Not much else to talk about at this point. I'm reading Corona next for Star Trek. And yeah, we'll just start working on stuff for September. I still have this crazy idea for a November reading event. We'll see if I can pull that together in time. But until then, thanks again for tuning in to my crazy channel, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.